This is one hell of a show we got for you this evening because my next guests are magicians, but not just any magicians. They are magicians with a difference. They are the greatest magicians on the planet. They are Penn and Teller. What the hell? What's going on there?
All the fake sucking up that the audience did for you, all that screaming that was forced out of them, almost woke up Teller. We just flew in this morning. The time zones are all up. So I'm going to try to do some of the stuff alone and let Teller get back on your time schedule.
I feel bad.
Try to keep it down when
we'll keep it down out here for you.
Jonathan.
I feel bad he's like the dormouse from Alice in Wonderland. Look at that. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Penn and Teller. I can't wait to have him out there. Have you seen Penn and Teller live? You must have seen them. I don't know if you've ever seen them.
Last time I was in Las Vegas, we really wanted to see them and they weren't on. But it's an extraordinary... I've seen a lot of the TV shows.
But you've never seen them perform up because they're going to do some stuff out here. Well, they're here in the UK. You should go and see them.
It does make me feel a bit bad being on the show, though, because you've got Penn and Teller, who are properly, I mean, magical. They'll make you believe stuff can happen that's properly using magic. And you've got Ellen on, who's an incredible actress. You've got Tom that can probably sing. And what am I? Just a chancer.
But
I mean, that's what comics are. It's the lowest rung on the showbiz ladder. The only thing below me is jugglers and chat show hosts. That's all that's... I've got nothing. But it is, it's like... You do feel so outclassed by Tom Jones, because it's a matter of verifiable fact.
Hold it. Look at that. We're getting a full show there. That's pretty good. Can you do 4, Penn?
I can do 4, sure. Pass me 3. That's a 3? Can you pass?
Oh, they've all got incredible
stuff. Whole new show.
Oh, no, I can't. It's just, I've never done it with...
Tom, you ever juggled?
Okay.
Just juggle. I'll take him away, give him back to you.
Hold it. I don't know whether this should be allowed.
Oh,
What's going to...
This is going to take a while, Jonathan. Get comfortable.
I can see... This is obviously how you get them asleep when you're babysitting, Penn. Okay, well, we'll come back to that. We'll come back to that.
No, we're not going to come back to it. You stay right here. Watch it. You brought up juggling. You watch it.
You realise, Jonathan, if people are just tuning in, they're going to think, yeah, the last couple of shows, he really is phoning this one in. It's just people juggling.
There we go. Done.
Yeah. That was good. Teller managed to see through the whole spectacle.
Oh, these talented people.
Did anyone see Jimmy Carr on Channel 4's...
About a dragon?
So you can do that. You can sit down if someone gets the subject.
Yeah, it's not
okay, what was the dragon joke
you came up with?
Well, let's have it anyway, because it's a nice moment.
Two dragons walk into a pub. One says to the other, "It's hot in here." The other one says, "Shut your mouth." It's a joke. It's like a joke. Back to kids.
20 minutes. Okay.
But it's like that's like every joke I've ever written. Every joke is reverse engineered. You start with a punchline and try and kind of
so you started with you thought, what is it about dragons? The qualities, flame,
something.
But you write a load of them. I know you have like a DVD out every year. So there'll be another one out this year, I'm sure.
Yeah, there's a DVD called Making People Laugh out this year, which is last year's show. It's the show that.
So you do new material right at the end of the year, then you record and put it out, and so you write basically a whole new show every year.
So it starts in August this year. The new tour is called, I think it's called Laughter Therapy.
Right.
This one, and it's brand new jokes, and that's my kind of little. I don't know, you'd call it superstition or whatever, but before I do a new tour, I like to write 250 one-liners.
So and that's how many you need to get through the show?
Yeah, I've got, well, you know, I'm not going to get by on, you know, bon ami and a laugh and a smile. As I said, I've got no talent. I can't juggle with an actress.
But he wasn't juggling with the actress, he was juggling with sweets. She happened to be standing in front of him.
She didn't happen to be standing in front of me. She was juggling herself and doing a fine job. I wasn't juggling in front of an actress. The actress was juggling herself. No, she wasn't. She was juggling candy.
Juggling herself sounds like a euphemism for something. I don't know what's... That sounds like... I suspect if she was juggling herself, even Teller would wake up, to be frank.
Turns out these candies have a greater purpose than diabetes.
That's it. They're juggling tools. And look at Tom sitting there, the older statesman.
He's about to make his move.
Dragon! Okay. All right,
I do love the... Okay. I mean, obviously, his singing voice is amazing, but I love that accent.
They are two of the greatest entertainers and magicians in the world. They're about to show us why. Are you going to do something for us, fellas? For goodness sake, Tom, give him a nudge, will you? Will you wake up Teller there?
I'm okay, Tom. I can handle this without Teller. It's been 35 years I've been working with him. Here's my chance to do something without him, okay? So let him sleep. Let him sleep. When he wakes up, I'll be working solo. Okay. I'm just going to shuffle these cards. All I want you to do, Tom, is just say stop whenever you want. Stop. Right there, kind of near the top. Take a look at that card. Right there at the top. Show it to the audience. Show it to the camera. I'll pretend I'm not looking at the monitor. Good. Now put it back in the deck, would you please? I want you to watch this carefully. Just put it back in the deck. Put it all the way in. I want you to watch this part right here, because this is where you hold the brake. Here's where you do the trick right there. But see, I'm not holding any sort of brake. That card is completely lost in the deck. I will give them one shuffle. Now, this is a very simple trick.
Right.
Card trick is considered the poetry of magic. No simple, real simple, no hype at all. I tap it once, and the card comes to the top of the deck. And was that your card, Tom? The Jack of Diamonds?
No.
Okay, sometimes a magician will miss once to make it look harder, but I'll do it the next one. Nine of Spades.
No.
Okay. Let me do another shuffle here. You did pick one. You do remember it, right, Tom?
Yeah.
Remember what the card was? Okay. And it was the Two of Hearts.
No.
Four of Clubs? Ten of Clubs?
No.
Queen of Spades. It was a face card.
No.
No, it wasn't a face. Okay, well, let's just eliminate all the face cards then. It wasn't an ace. It was an ace.
No.
I must have already thrown it. You remember your card, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Eight of Hearts.
No.
Okay, so much for the solar current. Tell her, could you wake up? Tell her, could you wake up, please? And Tom, is that your card? A three of clubs. That's your card right there. That's your card right there. Three of clubs. There it is.
That's why they're the greatest on the planet. It's Penn and Teller, ladies and gentlemen, coming up.
Strange magic. Oh, I got it. Strange magic.
Teller and Penn. Anywhere you want to sit, it's fine with me. How lovely to have you back in the UK.
Well, it's wonderful. It's wonderful to be here. You know, when I was juggling around Ellen, I looked at the monitor, and it was just this horrendous thing. It was like Sasquatch was attacking her. I was trying to get people to look at the juggling. It just looked like... I always forget I'm a monster. It was an awful thing. The Yeti was in the dressing room.
Yeah. It's an image that will take a while to get out of our heads.
I know, it's horrible.
But it was juggling, and that was, I think, 16 years. Is it 16, 15 years since you were last in the UK?
Yeah, since we've been back in the UK.
Why so long? Why
years.
so long?
Well, you know, we got kind of tied up in Vegas. You know, the idea was we were going to go to Vegas and do a few dates now and again and then tour. And then we ended up, we're now in our 9th year of full time.
But that must be, is it nice to have a home like that, to be in one place? I guess you can do bigger and better performances.
Well, you know, well, the thing is that you're supposed to go to Vegas and kind of settle in and retire and do the same show over and over again. And we have done more new material in Vegas because we have a shop there, we have a crew to work with, and we have done about 5.5 hours of new stuff in just the, just the years we've been in Vegas. So we're doing much more now than we did on Broadway or over here. It's
well,
great.
you've brought the show over here. I'm very excited to say 5 nights here in London at Hammersmith Apollo. I think they're sold out. I think they're pretty...
No, I don't think it's quite sold out, but it's doing very well.
Oh, it's going to be... I cannot wait to see you. I saw you live years ago in New York City.
Yeah,
when you had
we played New
Mofo,
York
the monkey,
forever,
on stage with you, or the gorilla. Yeah, that was a way when... what can we expect? What kind of things do people see on stage?
Well, you know, the nice thing is we're doing a couple of things. Because we cannot, because of your laws, do the bullet catch. We can't bring our guns.
Now, this is when you... This is going back to Chun-Li, is it? Is it Chun-Li, the old...
Chung-Li Soo died on stage doing it right here in London. And I guess you haven't gotten over that, so you won't let us bring it in. I always wondered about, Chung-Li Soo, like we do, got someone from the audience, had them examine the bullet, sign the bullet, load it into a gun, point it into the magician's face, fire it. And one night, the trick didn't go right on stage here in London. He fired the gun. The audience member fired the gun, shot Chung-Li Soo in the face, and killed him. And I've always wondered about the policeman coming in afterwards going, okay, let me get this straight. You come up on stage, 3,000 people watching you, you signed the bullet, fired it, shot him in the face, killed him. Is that right? Yes, it is. Okay, you can go, but if we have any other questions for you, I mean, I don't know the legality on that. And all this stuff about people who've died, I don't know what the legality is.
But I guess even when you're doing a trick that you've done many, many times before, there must be an element of danger in some of them. There's always a chance things can go wrong.
We try very hard. It's been kind of trendy in magic lately to do stuff that's supposed to be really dangerous. And I think that part of what you do is you try to do stuff that's really scary, but that the audience knows you're safe. It's a celebration of life, you know? So we do stuff that's supposed to be like a roller coaster ride. You know, you go on there and say, it feels like I'm gonna die, but if people really did die, the insurance rates would be too high.
And it would be a bit of a downer at the end of the evening.
Exactly, exactly. So we try to do stuff that Houdini's rule was he wouldn't do anything more dangerous than sitting in his living room. And we try to follow that rule. So we do stuff that looks really dangerous, but really isn't.
Where do you stand on those people? Because I know you've always been very open about this is magic, this is trickery we do here. It's showbiz, we're doing it, and often you would even show how the trick worked doing it, which didn't, bizarrely, and you would think that would ruin it, but no, in a way it kind of enhances it, don't when you use transparent
usually, the way you keep a trick secret is by having the method be really ugly, so that people don't want to figure it out on some level. So when we gave away tricks, we always designed and devised the trick to be beautiful to give it away, and it actually ends up fooling people more down the line, I think.
And where do you stand on people like the other magicians who, of course, don't? I'm not saying they're necessarily saying this is for real, but you've got someone like, well, Copperfield is an out-and-out conjurer on stage, but you've got David Blaine, who does these stunts which are kind of meant to be, how's he doing it? Is it for real? Is it not?
We've argued with David about that a lot. I mean, we love David's stuff, and he comes back and sees our show, and he has this feeling that the word trick is a dirty word, that to say that you're doing tricks, it's supposed to be all in this kind of woo-woo mystery area, and we just could not disagree more.
That's the old school way of looking at it, though,
yeah, it's very, very, very old school. I mean, back before Houdini.
Yeah.
You know, Houdini was someone who was very willing to say he was always doing tricks and very willing to bust anybody.
When you say that you've argued with him, I imagine that you've argued with him because you don't do a lot of talking, it has to be said, Teller, as people will probably have noticed.
Backstage, and when no one's around, Teller, I think Teller did more arguing with David than I did, actually. But we'll pretend he doesn't talk just for this.
But you don't like talking on, well, I don't know why I'm asking. He doesn't like talking as part of the act on stage.
No, it actually predates us working together. Teller put himself through college doing magic at frat parties, which I've forgotten exactly what level of Dante's hell that is, but it's very close to the same.
So this is like young college boys and girls together drinking too much beer.
And then Teller would be doing magic. And he found out that if he shut up, they simply grew tired of heckling him. So we first worked together. We were two separate acts in the same bill, and he was already working silently. We had to maintain the integrity of that. And then, you know, momentum's very powerful, so we kind of stuck with that.
Let me ask you about, here's something which I don't know if people know this, but Penn has two children.
Two children, yeah.
With just about the greatest names of any children on the planet. Would you please tell the audience the names?
My daughter's name is Moxie Crime Fighter Gillette. And my son's name is Zoltan Penn Gillette. And Zoltan is my wife's original surname.
Oh, really?
So that's, and I like to think of it, Zoltan is Hungarian for king. So I like to pretend we named him after Elvis.
Well, it sounds like a magician as well, Zoltan the Magnificent.
Yeah, Zoltan, sure. Zoltan Penn Gillette, I think it's her name. And my daughter, Moxie, her middle name is Crime. See, when you do a show and you're on TV now and again, people think that any stupid idea you get is yours. And that's not necessarily true. My wife does not have a middle name. So when we were naming Moxie, we named her Moxie after, you know, gutsy, you know,
so
gumption.
Moxie's like an American word for having
right,
a bit of get up and go.
It's from a soda. It's from a soda out of Maine. And we named her Moxie, which is great. We didn't come up with a middle name. And my wife said, I don't care about middle names. They're total bullshit. I don't have one. No one knows whose middle name are. We'll call her anything. And our piano player at the Penn and Teller show said he just read my novel that I wrote, and one of the characters says in it, from now on, call me Crime Fighter. And he said, you should call your daughter Crime Fighter. So Emily said, okay. So my wife says okay, and it's Moxie Crime Fighter Gillette. Time goes by, it comes out in the press, and they go, yeah, Penn Gillette, another B celebrity who forces his weird ego trips on his children. But it ended up having an upside, because 3 times my wife has been pulled over speeding with the children in the car, because that's the kind of mom she is. And the police officer has said, you know how fast you were going? And she says, this is my daughter. You might have heard her middle name. He goes, oh, is this Moxie Crime Fighter? And she goes, yes, it is. We're on the same side. He goes, ha, 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 go ahead. So it's worth 3. How many driving tickets have you gotten out of because of your children's name? Huh?
I just give them cash when they
Sure.
catch me.
We save that cash. Mox got that for us.
Here's what I want to say before you go. I can't wait to see you live again. We're hugely excited at my house to see you at the Hammersmith Apollo, ladies and gentlemen. You can get a few tickets left,
sure,
but they will go real quick, especially after this show goes out. So make sure you get yourself one if you can.
Please.
Can I get you to do something else
Yeah,
before
we're
you
going
go?
to do
Do
one
you
more
have a
trick
little
for you.
trick you can do for me?
Yeah, we're going to do a classic of magic, which is the cups and balls. And years ago, we did a series of television shows where we saw magic all over the world. Went to Egypt, China, and India. And every magician we saw had a version of the cups and balls. And the trick all around the world didn't change very much, but the props did. And in China, they had these metal cups handed down generation. In India, they had these hand-carved wooden cups. But we used plastic cups because we were representing the United States of America. So these are the plastic we use. We also use for balls, we use tinfoil balls. So we have the totally American, totally disposable cups and balls. Goes like this. This is the way it's done everywhere. Take the ball, we place it in our hand, we vanish it, and it appears underneath the cup. And that's the way it's done all around the world. You just take the ball, we place it in our hand, we vanish it, and it appears underneath the cup. Here's a little variation Teller came up with, where he takes the ball, places it in his hand, then shows you underneath the cup, yet it still appears underneath the cup. Now, if I did the center ball, place it visibly beneath the center cup, then do the side balls, put them anywhere we want, they still reappear beneath the center cup. Now, you've already seen a little juggling here, but there's a little more of it. Then a giant ball beneath the center cup, one more giant ball on either side, and of course, for the finish, it's a baseball, as American as you can get.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Pen, it's Teller.
Oh, it's not done
finished.
yet.
I thought that
See,
was it. That was good enough for me.
That's the standard version of the cups and balls.
Wow.
After we did that for a while, we wanted to kind of zoom in and do a Penn and Teller version of the cups and balls, which involves breaking a few rules of magic. Now, the first rule of magic is you never do the same trick twice. You had the sense of that right away. You're going to get us out of there. Yeah. Don't do it again. We're going to do it again. Second rule is you never tell an audience how a trick is being done. So I'm going to tell you exactly how the trick is being done. The third rule of magic is you never let the audience see your secret preparation. They must not know what is hidden in which pocket. And the fourth rule of magic is unwritten, but I think any magician in the world would agree with us in a second that you never, ever do the cups and balls with clear plastic cups. This is the Penn and Teller version of the cups and balls. We take the first ball, pretend to place it in our hand, having already snuck it underneath the first cup. Take the second ball, simultaneously secrete it beneath the cup, pretend to place it in our hand, and show it. Take the third and final ball, pretend to place it in our hand, pretend to shoot it at the cup, place it at the cup, and then secretly secrete it and reveal it. Now we're all set for the second half. 3 cups all loaded, 3 balls on top. The center ball, place the center cup. Each of the side balls, really put them away. We don't need them more. We have 3 duplicates in each center cup. With these 3 balls that come over here. This is not juggling. This is called misdirection. For I look over here, tells us the final ball under, 1 more on either side, and of course for the finish, it's an American baseball. The baseball.
That's incredible.
That's the finish.
Pen and Teller, ladies and gentlemen, the greatest magicians on the planet. Thank you for being here. Great to see you again, Teller.
Thank you so
Pen,
much.
how magnificent.
Thank you.
Pen and Teller. Thank you, gentlemen. Wow.